and talk about how Qigong was sort of discovered. Nobody really knows, right? Because nobody was taking notes at the time because it predates writing. But the way Dr. Yang explained it to me, is one of my first teachers. He said, if you can imagine a time when there were no distractions, which is hard to do. There's no radio, there's no television, there's no media, there's no job to get to, no traffic jams. Nothing grabs your attention. Where do you put it? You put it into the natural world. The trees, the rocks, the river that flows by, these are the things that we'll watch. Now let's take this person who has no distractions and he takes a walk by the river. And as he goes by the river, what he doesn't know about the river is that the river is emitting negative ions. When water moves, it releases negative ions. What he also doesn't know is that when you're under stress, around your spinal cord and cranium are a huge, concentration of positive ions. So when you come to the water, the negative ions and the positive ions, they neutralize each other, the stress goes away. Probably you've noticed this, you go by water, you feel better, you feel more at ease. People like to take vacations by water. So one of the reasons why. You can get by the water. So he's by the water and all of a sudden he starts to feel himself relax. And as he relaxes, he starts to notice that he's going to be tempted to let his body fall a little bit. He was holding this, and now he lets it come down. And as his body relaxes, he begins to breathe more evenly. He starts to notice, oh, my breath gets longer and slower. And as he does that, he starts to feel a sensation in the body, a current, maybe some tingling or some warmth. And he starts to realize he's very much at peace. Now as he looks off into the distance and he sees a mountain, he decides to climb the mountain. He doesn't know that the mountain is loaded with metals and minerals, that what they'll do is they'll gather the magnetic field of the earth and bring it together in a concentrated point. When he climbs to the top of the mountain, he doesn't feel fatigued anymore when he reaches the top, because what's happening is it's conducting that power into his body. He gets up to the top and it fills his body, and the temptation or the likelihood to stand a little bit straighter, to take a deeper, fuller breath, to expand the chest. This comes up. The qi is very yang, it's powerful. It's not so much dispersing or smoothing, it's gathering and it's concentrating inside his body. And he notices that the breathing is different. It's not the same as it was by the river. The experience is very different. So that night he goes home. When he goes home, there's nothing on television because nobody invented television yet. So he recalls his day. And as he sits down and he thinks about being at the river, just the image and the recollection of the sound of the water and the feel, he's put attention somewhere and the sensations begin. When he begins to change the breathing pattern that he experienced when he was by the river, he starts to have exactly the same, as if he's still there. The energy starts to relax his body. And the breathing patterns begin to make it flow evenly, and now he has something. So he tries again when he was on top of the mountain. What did that look like and what did it feel like? And when he recalls that moment and he changes the breathing again, the same sensations go through his body, the same surge of power, the same energy is there. He feels invigorated and he feels strong. Now as that power begins to manifest outside of his body, he begins to feel this magnetic pull around his body. And he starts to notice that when he changes the postures of his body, the positions in how he moves, that also affects the flow of qi. And so when he combines the breathing and the posture and the attention together, we have the discipline of Qigong. And this is where it comes from. Now as this power begins to build, it starts to concentrate deeper into his organs. Once the organs are completely full, and every space in between his joints are full, every cavity in the body is full, that energy needs some place to flow. It'll begin to flow up his spinal cord in a coiling action. As that energy begins to travel through the spinal cord, it travels all the way up into the back of the head, into the vision cortex of the brain. It's located at about the tops of your ears. Comes right through. There are 3 branches, he doesn't know this by the way, but there are 3 branches of the optic nerve. 2 of those branches that leave the vision cortex, they come right to the eyes. The middle branch sits in the very center of your brain, sits just over the temporal lobe. That place, when that becomes energized, we begin to see other spectrums.